Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me here from another airport at the end of Red Hat Summit 2017, collecting my thoughts about what happened, what my key takeaways are. This is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research. Thanks for listening and watching. I always try to keep this short and sweet. So what are my 3 takeaways? First of all, biggest event ever, biggest Red Hat Summit ever with over 6,000 attendees. Good to see that. Red Hat is the largest open source vendor out there, also largest commercial Linux vendor out there with over $2 billion US revenue. This was their 13th user conference, so it's been going strong since quite some time. What are my top 3 takeaways? First of all, today, partnership with AWS. Everybody has to pay attention if somebody partners with the 800-pound gorilla, AWS. In this case, an interesting partnership which allows Red Hat customers to extend their capabilities via AWS functionalities. Look at the press release in my blog post later on what they specifically are. So this is a way for customers of Red Hat to extend capabilities which they do not have on premises in the current part and build a common programming interface, API situation, calling situation, provisioning these from one common pane of glass. There used to be this old statement that Microsoft would do embrace and extend. You're probably familiar with this if you follow the industry since a while. The big question is, of course, who is embracing and extending who on this part. Definitely a win for Red Hat customers. Red Hat can't provide all these functionalities that Amazon makes available. And Amazon, of course, wants to have that load that Red Hat customers are running on premises. So we'll see how that ends. Second biggest takeaway, Red Hat OpenShift I/O. Doesn't happen much often that vendors unveil new development environments. Redshift I/O is an interesting one. I had a short look with some interesting thoughts, completely in the cloud, of course, based there with social collaboration capabilities, interesting things which you cannot do in a classic IDE, which is installed on premises. So interesting development, good to see the competition, and interesting to see that Red Hat felt compelled to build an IDE. And then overall, the new kids on the block are doing well. I mean, the overall situation for Red Hat is that the Linux market is slowly but steadily still growing at 10-20%, but is long-term not going to be there if you assume everything's going to move to the cloud. So it's important for Red Hat to make new interesting bets, and all of these are doing pretty well. The most prominent of them is OpenShift, of course, the new abstracted container platform, which allows to run loads across, that's the goal, across different IaaS for Red Hat customers. That's definitely a big win. The next ones are capabilities which Red Hat has developed in the PaaS area, like I mentioned on the development side. The I/O piece rolls into that. And then, of course, the OpenStack capabilities, where Red Hat managed to double their customers, which was quite a surprise, because overall what I can see and say is it's getting more quiet around OpenStack these days. Then there's a storage offering, probably the weakest of the new kids on the block, probably the one which does the least. And then last but not least, CloudFormation, the capability to administer which load is going to which pieces of a hybrid cloud infrastructure. So all of these are doing well. They are growing in combination, as the CFO said, at 100%. So growing quite fast, but they have to make up for a lot of revenue. If you think about that, Red Hat overall is a $2 billion company, and these new Gambles products are about 100 million. Even if they're growing at 100%, it will take quite a while for them to reach the same scale like the infrastructure or Linux portfolio, which is there at 1.7 billion, right? A million would be a big problem. Good, what's my overall takeaway? Good conference for Red Hat. What's the future with RHEL in the cloud, and does RHEL have a future? There's a big question mark on that. I am not so optimistic on that. This is why it's good to see that Red Hat is investing in new capabilities, new products, new offerings. The question is, of course, does it do it fast enough? Always good to see a partnership with AWS. We have to see, like I said before, who's going to win that. Good to see the IDE innovation. On the concern side, maybe not so much talk about Linux and the application development part, JBoss, as I would like to see, but Red Hat hopefully knows the audience who's coming to Red Hat Summit and caters to their needs and what they want to hear and what they want to talk about. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Probably when we log live, this is Holger Mueller at the Constellation Research. Follow me on Twitter at HOLGER, and you. Thanks for watching.